Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dan, the voice behind ThatKaitoDan, and welcome back to the RWBY Ship Name Analysis Project. Time to wrap up my insight on the wonderfully creative names that the fandom have made for RWBY relationships made during the show's first 3 volumes. Of course, be sure to check out the previous parts through the link below, and once more, I must warn you that this video will contain adult themes, questionable content, and spoilers for the show. With all that said, let's continue with Ozpin and Glinda. The one who sips his mug, and the one who has a crop ready to whip students into shape. That pair makes sips and whips, and they can also be known as Yellow Bricks, after the iconic road in their pair's origin, The Wizard of Oz. Ozpin and Oobleck. These two often drinking members of the Beacon staff could have a double shot of anything in their cups. Maybe some decaf and espresso. Ozpin and Port. 2 old men are exactly what these two are, but there's also Masters of the Fleet, calling on Port for reference of a naval fleet, and both being leading figures of command in varying degrees at the school. Ozpin and Crow. Crow's the man left to carry Ozpin's charge, with their ship giving us the names like Clockwork, spelled uniquely thanks to Crow's inclusion to the time-based name. Or there's Chess, another callback to the Queen Has Pawns message that Crow sent Oz back in Volume 1. Ozpin and Ironwood. Ozpin's room has quite the fair share of gears in it, and Ironwood's got his fair share of metal. Combine these two, and we get, oh my god, Metal Gear! Ozpin and Salem. These two have a lot of history, it seems, and a lot on the line in their larger-than-life chess match, deserving of their ship name of Grandmasters, the highest rank in chess other than World Champion. Ozpin and Adam. For this pair of the Bull and the Mysterious Man, we look into the equally mysterious Roman religion, Mithraism, and the god Mithras. One of the iconic scenes involving this religion was slaughtering a bull, which is often depicted in cult reliefs as Torochni. Ozpin and Penny. Clockwork in its normal spelling is the ship name for Ozpin and the synthetic Penny. Ozpin and Cardin. Speaking of clocks, most cuckoo clocks have a little birdie that springs out during the ringing sessions, fitting for Cardin because of his bird theming. Ozpin and Amber. Amber was kept in a vault under Ozpin's school, a very important prized possession in a way. Ozpin and Summer. Oz looks very aware of the legend of the Silver Eyes, a trait that Summer had. Miss Rose's pairing with Oz takes inspiration from Summer's tombstone, which reads, "Thus I kindly scatter," as well as lyrics from Volume 1's opening theme, "This Will Be the Day," thumbing these two, legends scatter. Ozpin and the Grim Dragon. Interestingly, the fandom has nicknamed the Grim Dragon, seen in Volume 3, as Kevin, which can combine with the previous owner of Beacon's Tower to make Kevpin. Glinda and Oobleck. The hard-edged Glinda paired with Oobleck makes for the pair of Gluebeck, another name mashup. But there's also Caffeine and Cream, more references to the drinks that staff probably would have to go through to get through the struggles of teaching. Glinda and Winter. The pairing featuring the right-hand women of Ozpin and Ironwood now, both being able to hand out a stern approach to a cold lesson if needed. Glinda and Crow. The Crop Wielder and the Scythe Master. That weapon of course being used by farmers for harvesting wheat crops. So for this pair we get crop harvesting. Glinda and Ironwood. Glinda's not been the highest on the list of praising Ironwood's actions, so naturally some people ship the heck out of them. Their last names used to combo as ship names for either Iron Witch or, and please don't laugh, Goodwood. Don't laugh! Glinda and Penny. To many, technology is magic, especially if it can lead to something like Penny, the world's first aura-generating synthetic. Penny being a huntress though might free her from being bound by the 3 laws of robotics made by sci-fi author Isaac Asimov. Glinda and Salem. We got a wicked witch and a good witch, and both may have been put to witch trials, their life on the line if proven to be an actual witch. Glinda and the White Fang Lieutenant. More use of the weapons as inspirations, this time with Glinda's crop whip and the White Fang Lieutenant's chainsaw. Whips and chains. Kinda BDMS-y, but it fits. Glinda and Neon. Neon's inspiration of Nyan Cat is to many one of those names that have been overused, turning the original into a bit of a whipped meme of sorts, milked for all it's worth. Oobleck and Port. These two birds in their trademark red and green colours give us the ship name of Mario Brothers, referring of course to the popular Italian video gaming plumbers. There's also Tenured, meaning someone who has a permanent post, like these two long-serving teachers. Oobleck and Tuxen. Tuxen's book tray could have had some history books in its lining, which would have been right up the history teacher Oobleck's alley. Oobleck and Zwei. Oobleck and Zwei seem to hit it off pretty quickly despite being different creatures, so it's no shocker that one of the more popular ships involving Oobleck is with Zwei, and making it Zwoobleck. Port and the White Fang Lieutenant. Grim bodies don't remain after they die, so if Port and the chainsaw-wielding lieutenant wanted to chop up the Borbatus Peter has to make it into a pork chop, they'd be out of luck. Port and Jacques. Jacques' got a mustache that could rival that of Port's, but together they could also be the fine duo dubbed Moustache Brigade. Ironwood and Russell. I'm sure dealing with bullies like Russell would be an issue for James that would lead to some Russell Jimmies, the phrase meaning discomfort over someone's actions. Ironwood and Raven. Ironwood's pairing with Raven can be called Woodpecker, the bird notable for pecking its beak into a tree. Ironwood and Tuxen. Tuxen's profession housed books of all kinds of information, like a database for computers that Ironwood probably would be more familiar with as an Atlesian. Ironwood and Zwei. I wonder if Zwei could enlist in the Atlesian army. If so, he could be one of many dogs of war. Penny and Oobleck. Maybe Oobleck gets some Java coffee from a coffee machine. It at least works into another ship name for him and Miss Polydina, that being JavaScript, a form of programming language. Penny and Crow. If Crow was a robot like Penny, his drinking habits would pretty much make him Remnant's version of Futurama's alcoholic metal man, Bender. The pair of the robot and the bird named Huntsman also works into another ship name of Bubo, referring to the mechanical owl from the film Clash of the Titans. Penny and Ironwood. Of course, Penny was created under Ironwood's watchful eye, making the man with metal parts to him and his secret project a pair of metalheads. Penny and Adam. Penny not only comes from Ironwood's forces, but she also borrows the ship name for his pairing with Adam Taurus, mechanical bull being reused for this pair. Penny and Junior. Be it Junior or the youngest of the three bears that he's based on, I'm sure both would want to avoid being trapped in a metal bear trap. Penny and Melanie. Both of these two share the fact that they've got some solid steel toe heels on their feet, one with blades and the other being the whole dang foot. Penny and Militia. If we trade Penny's ship partner for the other Malachite, we could go to Militia's claws or Penny's blades, working as a handy razor option if you want a really close shave. Penny and Port. A handy device for any tech user with a lot of data on hand would be a USB port, used here for the pairing of the metal gal and, well, Port. Penny and Sky. Among many of the man-made contraptions that we've made to travel across the sky, one of them include the dirigible. Penny and CL. Penny's Sunny Sky named partner adds to the metal used for pennies to make Copper Sun for one ship name, the other being Digital Clock, one of many ways of tracking time I imagine CL has used in the past. Penny and May. Penny is one capable metallic fighter, and May is quite the marksman. Combine the two and we may get quite the effective sentry turret. Penny and Tuxen. Even with all the books kept in Tuxen's bookstore, they might not measure up to the database of a walk-in library like Penny. Penny and the Grim Dragon. Just like when lights surge out and break, the large scale of the Grim Dragon may bring out a major blackout just by its swarming over the land. Penny and Zwei. I imagine Ruby would actually love it if her pet dog took some of Penny's mechanical parts to become a even stronger fighting pooch, just like Metal Gear Rising's Blade Wolf. Winter and Crow. This hot and cold pair offer up ship names like Snowbird, for obvious reasons given the snow theme for winter and Crow being based on a bird, as well as Night's Watch, referring to the faction in Game of Thrones due to Winter's name tying into the motto of House Stark, Winter is coming, and the group's nickname being Crows due to their black attires. Winter and Ironwood. Winter of course works under General Ironwood's command, this leading into the ship name for these two being Winter Soldier, the name of the popular Marvel comic book character. Winter and Raven. Weiss's frosty sister and Yang's runaway mother together make the ship of winter migration, when birds fly away from their homes due to the winter cold. Winter and Amber. Amber of course was a fall maiden. Winter and fall are also two of the seasons, thus this ship can be called Season's Greetings, a phrase often shared during the winter time for Christmas. Winter and Summer. These two's names work into their ship names, one being Solstice, like the summer and winter solstice, and then there's also maiden names, due to Winter and Summer also being names tied to the seasonal maidens. Winter and CL. Time seems to stop sometimes when you're in the cold, but it would really stop if you add in Winter's freezing element to CL's time management and make Time Freeze. Crow and Ironwood. Another pair that has its issues, and another pair that uses Woodpecker for a ship name, only this time with Crow, not his sister Raven. However, there's also Gears of War, taking the gears inside of Crow's weapon and Ironwood being a general. Crow and Raven. Another ship between family members, this time the bird named brother and sister. Two birds of a feather in that regard, though not so much birds of paradise given the two's different allegiances. Crow and Tai Yang. And another family pair with issues involving more members of Team Stark. Their pairing can either be Tai Crow, a simple merger of their names, or Sanzuru, a mythological three-legged bird that often represents the sun, which is what Tai Yang's name means in Chinese. Crow and Salem. Crow's pairing with his friend Ozpin's biggest foe can be called the ship name Wicked, which is also the name of a musical and novel involving the Wicked Witch from The Wizard of Oz, which of course also had a character called Scarecrow. Crow and Amber. And speaking of Scarecrow, the Huntsman's name reworks this ship name for his pairing with Amber, who has a lot of brown to her look similar to the Strawfield character. Crow and Summer. Many in the fandom like to wonder if Crow and Summer were a thing. Thanks to this, we got the ship name of Hunter's Dream, if Crow himself wished this to be true. Other than that though, there's KINGSGUARD, another faction in Game of Thrones, used here for two well-qualified warriors with either a white sword or white cloak, fit in the group. Crow and CL. Add a splash of CL's trademark color of blue to Crow's animal trait, and you get a bluebird. Tai Yang and Ironwood. I got a chuckle of this ship name, that being Tiger Woods, using Tai Yang and Ironwood's names to rework into the name of the golfing icon. Tai Yang and Summer. Team Stark teammates before they had some summer lovin', this pair could also be called Tiamat, a mythical dragon goddess who in dragon form is usually depicted as mostly red despite its other heads. This working here given Summer's red elements and Tai Yang's last name Xiaolong meaning little dragon. Tai Yang and Raven. Of course Tai Yang's first wife was the other Team Stark female, Raven, whose dark colour scheme can work with Tai's sun elements to make the ship name Midnight Sun. Though there's also domestic dispute, which is abuse of a married relationship or partnership. Kinda like the emotional pain that we know Tai went through when Raven left. Tai Yang and Amber. Then there's this pairing of Mega Aerodactyl, the mega form of the fossil dragon Pokemon that was reborn from an old Amber. Summer and CL. CL's time elements builds on Summer and Tai Yang's ship name to make it Summertime Lovin' instead.
Summer and Raven. If people wish to ship the two females of Team Stark together, there's Disappearing Act, due to both women leaving Ty's side either by death or by choice. And the other option can be Enabler Prime, working off the Enabler ship given to their respective birth daughters, Ruby and Yang. Russell and Dove. The pairing of the mohawked and blonde boys of Team Cardinal makes the ship name Nest, home to many a bird, be it a thrush or a dove. Dove and Sky. And like a dove or a lark, birds are often spotted high in the sky, soaring across the breeze. Neon and Flint. The two known members of Team Funky proved to be a strong duo act. Mixing together Neon's rainbows with Flint's jazz music can make rainbow jazz. Or the popular colourful funk hit from Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk. Neon and May. If Neon went for a sniper rather than a trumpet player though, her pairing with Mei Zedong could be a kitty twist to her name with Meow Zedong. The other ship name for these two can be Glow Sights, the combination of sight from a sniper rifle and glow sticks, the dance club item also used as Neon's weapon. Neon and Reese. Then there's the Catfurnace's ship with the wild child Reese Chloris. Both of these two could rock the halfpipe given their hoverboard and skates, and maybe could even score gold at the X Games, the extreme sports event, which is also the inspiration for these two's other ship name, XX Games, taking on an extra X thanks to the female sex chromosomes. Neon and CL. It's party time! P-A-R-T. Why? Because we got the club girl and the watchwoman together. Reese and Arslan. Now for the two gals of Team Auburn, Reese and Arslan, whose last name means Red Dawn, working off of Reese's green locks to make the ship name Green Flash, the name for the optical phenomenon during a sunrise or a sunset where the sun for a moment just looks green. Reese and May. Miss Chloris' pairing with May though works in her boarding skills with May's sniping skills to make 360 no-scopes, taking on a 360 spin like the skateboard trick and the popular trick in shooter games of spinning in a circle and getting a kill without using the scope. And finally, the greatest ship of all time, Shopkeeper and Perry, making the pair of crooked merchandise, due to Perry being part of a criminal organization and the Shopkeeper being master of selling all kinds of products.
And that's it for this part of the project. Remember that the Volume 4 section will be on its way soon, so be on the lookout for that. Also be sure to share your thoughts in the comments down below, like and fave the video if you wish, hit the subscribe and bell buttons to get new videos from yours truly as they drop, and follow me on Twitter at ThatKaitoDan for more on RWBY, future videos and beyond. Until next time though, have a good day or good night, and peace out.